Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of NasCard Radio. This is episode 172 of NasCard Radio, where trading cards and racing meet. I'm your pal Val. With me is the man, myth, the legend, PSA and White Castle Hall of Famer, Logan. How are you?
I'm feeling like Logan on the blowgun.
Okay. And then our special guest is Justin Channels. Welcome.
How's it going, everybody?
We're super excited to have you. We'll have a great show for everybody. Justin has come back with an amazing experience and quest that he's had. I don't know exactly how many years or how many months that he was working on this, but it's pretty incredible. So we're going to jump into that. But first, want to thank our sponsor, Panini America, and some of our seasonal sponsors, Little Nero's Pizza. When you're home alone and need a pie, call these guys, Little Nero's Pizza. And also Greenway Press. When you're looking for a good book buddy to put on the shelf, choose Greenway Press. Let's see, we have some new subscribers. Noah, we're going to call him, I guess, Noah Bubba or Bubba.
Noah Farigia.
Thank you.
I think that's right. You may be able to tell us, Justin.
Yeah. That might be me. Yeah.
And then new subscriber, Justin Channels as well. So thank you for subscribing. Like I said, you give like the show, subscribe, we'll give you a shout out. And also want to give a shout outs to Kyle Katz. I didn't buy these, Skid Marks, Michael Haggard, and High Octane Cards for the YouTube comments. We read them, so please leave them. Had a great live show last week. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. So, anything I missed, Logan? Or we jump into it?
I don't think so. I have one news nugget we'll talk about later, but yeah, Justin has an incredible story. He's been on a quest for a 1972 STP Richard Petty, and he finally came across one. And then his secondary or additional quest to go along with that was to get that signed and inscribed by Richard Petty. So it was a pretty amazing story. He's here to tell us about it. So first thing we want to talk about, Justin, is we know you're a longtime collector.
Yes.
How did you get started in collecting?
So I have a twin brother named Ryan, and we kind of grew up as kids just collecting. I'd say Pokemon cards was the real first big one for us. And then that grew into baseball, probably around 06, 07. We were about 10 years old. And then right around high school, we got back into it. I was big into collecting coins at the time. So then naturally that flew over into cards again. I was like, oh yeah, I did these when I was younger, and then built that up through high school. And then into college, got, developing an eBay and getting into the real thing of buying and selling, and just fell in love with sports cards as a whole, and started building a collection for ourselves. And now we run a shop in Sonoma, California, and it's just been building off of itself this whole time. And even through NASCAR cards, I mean, it's been something that was just a natural progression for me over the last 10 years, I'd say, of doing it really seriously. It's just been, let me get into this, all the things I enjoy. Football, I've collected more seriously baseball than basketball, and I'd say like NASCAR for me has really taken off in the last few years, which is where the Petty project really starts to come into play.
Yeah, so you've got the Sonoma Raceway literally in your backyard. So I guess you go to that race.
Yeah. Oh, every year. Yeah. It's about probably 12 minutes from my place here.
Oh man, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So I think you've developed a favorite driver. Who's your favorite current NASCAR driver?
So this is a funny story. My favorite driver is Denny Hamlin. He might not be everyone's favorite. I love how he always jokes. He's like, man, we didn't win favorite driver. Maybe next year. But when I got back into NASCAR, so long story short, my dad worked for Yellow Trucking, which I think it was Johnny Sauter, Jimmy Spencer, and then Jamie McMurray even there for a little bit. Were sponsored by Yellow. which my dad was like a regional account manager, so he was overseeing that. And then when they would come to the race, obviously yellow was on the hood, so he would take me to races as a kid. And then I just got back into it, and I was like, you know what, let's go to Sonoma. And this was the 2018. I'd say 2018 is when I really started getting into NASCAR again. There was a autograph signing before the race, and Denny Hamlin was one of the signers. And I had, not known about a lot of the drivers and stuff, and so I had a chance to go talk to Denny Hamlin and get to meet him, and he was just the coolest guy. And I was like, yeah, Denny, I'm kind of getting back into NASCAR. What's one thing I should know about the sport? And he goes, I'll tell you one thing. You need to root for me. He goes, I need to be your favorite driver. And I said, I think we could do that. And so then he put his arm around me, and we took a photo together. And I had a license plate that he signed for me, which I still have. And I was just like, that was awesome. So he was really nice to me at the time, and I've seen him a couple times now since. Most recently, last year's race, I got to see him. I had a pit pass, so I got to see him before the start of the race. He's just such a nice guy. I mean, he gets a rep for being aggressive and a hack sometimes, but he's a good dude, and definitely a fun guy to cheer for.
Sweet. So Val, you got any questions?
I'm just, thinking about Denny Hamlin there with the number of wins he's got. Yeah, he's a future Hall of Famer to boot. So, he doesn't necessarily come off as the nice guy, but I don't know. He's kind of got that Kyle Busch where, I mean, the guy can back it up. I mean, the only thing he really hasn't done is won a championship, but he's done so much.
When was his beef with Chase Elliott? Was that Martinsville?
I think so. Yeah, he tagged him.
I loved all that drama and all that. I mean, I think, they say Rubbin's racing and all, just that stuff. It's great.
Yeah. It's just, tempers can flare in that moment, whatever. And that split second decision can be, make or break you. Right. And, like I always say, you have to be a little aggressive because nobody's going to give you the win. You got all these other guys. So you're going to have to fight for every inch. So, but that's awesome about Sonoma. That's really cool. And so you started to get back into cards, and so you made that transition from getting an autograph from license plates, whatever, to getting maybe cards autographed and stuff, and going to Sonoma. And with the pit pass is great because it gives you a little more access.
Yeah. This last year, I ended up taking a binder full of cards and really, graphing, as they say, for the first time. I got Prism rookies, Ross Chastain, William Byron, Brad Keselowski signed some stuff for me. Just, I think it really transforms the experience. And, you guys have talked about it before, how gracious NASCAR drivers are with their time and stuff. I mean, they're really, you go to a lot of different sports or a lot of different leagues and stuff, and they're probably the more gracious of the bunch when it comes to fan appreciation and autograph signing and stuff like that.
To get that kind of access and then to get those autographs, you're going to be hooked for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. I told the story about going to Chick-fil-A here in Germantown, and I go in there and I had my Panini racing shirt on, right? And the guy kept looking at me, kept staring at me and looking at me the whole time. And he came up to me and he said, "Do you know about Panini racing cards?" I said, "Yeah, I sure do." He goes, "You may know my son, who is Tommy Joe Martins."
Yeah.
Went, yeah, because he owns was Alpha Prime Racing in the Xfinity Series. And I said, "Yeah, I know who he is." He goes, "Yeah, I'm his dad." And I'm like, wow. So ever since then, I've been a Tommy Joe Martins fan. It's just meeting his dad at Chick-fil-A.
Right. No, I love how little stories like that can change a person's perspective or the trajectory of their collecting, so easily.
Mm-hmm. It's like you and I was at Nashville and Sam Mayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Mayer. Yeah. Well, actually, Sam Mayer, they had an ARCA race here in Memphis. It was actually the last race ever at the track. They have closed the track since then, but it was during COVID or right towards the end of COVID. And, I had a sign. I would have my truck out there. I was trying to get autographs from people as the drivers were leaving the track. There was only one exit, so they had to come out that way. So this car rolls up and this window rolls down the back and it's Sam Mayer. It's like, wow. Okay. And I had some cards. So I handed him some, like 3 cards. He signed them all. I told him thanks. And he said, thank you for being a fan. And ever since then, I'm a Sam Mayer fan just because of what he did for me during pretty much COVID.
He's a pretty big up and comer too, if I'm not mistaken.
Do what?
Yeah. He was Justin was saying that he's an up and comer, and
yes, yeah, he was in the Final Four this year in Xfinity. So that's for the champ. He ran for the championship. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
So you're collecting NASCAR cards and getting autographs, and so somehow, some way, you decide to get a new quest, new thing.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So the quest was the 72 STP. I started I have a collection in my PC of cards that are autographed by greats, right? I've got a Derek Jeter rookie card that I got myself. I've got a Hank Aaron 54 Topps that's signed that I had done just a few months before he passed away. I've got some Steph Curry rookie cards and all that stuff. And so I was thinking, man, I'm really been enjoying NASCAR. What's the card? What's the one? And obviously with Richard Petty and all that stuff, I've been a big fan of his, and just when you start reading the statistics and the numbers and all that, it's staggering how much he's done for the sport. And I came to learn about the 72 STP probably about right around that same time, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And the idea of owning one has become more realistic as I've I finished college. I started my career with the shop and all that. And I figured, man, I got to have one of those. And to see and get to know Logan and yourself, Val, here more over the last couple years, it had become apparent, like, yeah, this is going to be number one on my list of I need to check this off. And it was interesting because I'd say I've been going after the card for about 3, wanting to do it for about 5, but for the last 3 years, I've been watching all the auctions and all the things, and I'd miss out on them, and there'd be a one for sale for $1,500. I'd offer $1,200, and then it would sell for $1,500, or I'd offer $950 on one, and it would sell for $1,100. So man, I was just for the last couple of years, I've been missing out on something just so close on a lot of them too. So then finally, when there was a pair of 2.5s, I know you guys talked about them in King's Court, but some guy listed 2 2.5s at the same time. And I got a notification on my phone that it popped up, and right as it came in, I shot what I thought was, that's an offer that was gonna get the card. And I guess they had it on auto accept, because as soon as I put it in, it charged the card, and I go, oh my gosh, like after all this time, holy cow, like I own one now. And so it took a week or so to get here. And then once I had it in hand, it was one of those things like, do you want to keep it the way it is? And with it being a 2.5, I figured, you know what? I would love to go meet him, and I'd love to get this thing signed. Let's do it. So we cracked it out, and then then flew to the museum really on a whim, just to get out there and do that. But the whole thing, I'd say, has been in the works for about 5 years, but then really within the last, really when we talked at the National, it was go time for me, because we reiterated, like, how many have I missed out on? How many sales have there been of all these others? Like, I'm done missing out on this thing. And so I grabbed that one.
So let's revert back just for a second. Mm-hmm. I remember a specific time about 1.5 years ago, I think is when it was, maybe a little bit longer, where I'm out riding on the trails on my mountain bike. And I had just stopped at Bedpan Hill. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you know where Bedpan Hill is. I get this text from you.
Yeah.
And it's like, there was a guy that had a 72 STP card, and I think he had a starting bid of, it was like $2,000. Then all of a sudden,
my gosh, yeah, this one,
for whatever reason, remember, he all of a sudden put it for, I guess buy it now for $1,000.
Yeah.
And you texted me and said, should I buy this? I said, yes, buy it right now. Cause wasn't in position to buy it. I said, yes, buy it right now. And then like literally right when you were getting ready to buy it, somebody had bought it.
Yep. I missed. I literally, it was out of stock when I was going to check it out.
Yeah. Cause I remember that I was out mountain biking. I was out and I was sweating and everything. I'm like, or texting you and was like, yeah, get it now. Go ahead and get it.
You told me a new piece of information recently that I'm so up, like just gone crazy about is what happened to that card.
Oh yeah. That particular card. We found out, Val and I found out at the National that the guy who bought it was a friend of ours, and he ended up getting it submitted, and it got a PSA 8. Oh. Doesn't that make you? But would you have got it autographed if you still? I mean, I'm sure you probably would have.
I don't know. Well, because here's something I was told recently. Because I do enjoy the don't touch it kind of thing. Leave it as the way it was. But it's also, would you rather have an 8, or if you're careful enough, an 8-10, right? If you can get a perfect auto on it, what would you enjoy more? A perfect 8, but then you run the risk when you're cracking it out and stuff like that. So something like that, I don't know if I'd be able to do it if I have access, because I don't think any are available right now, at least reasonably. But if I had an 8, I'd probably hold on to that one and then get another one, a different one signed.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Just because I feel like the 8 is for that card specific. I know a 9 is like the top of the pop. So I feel like an 8 I wouldn't want to mess with. I mean, even if I don't do anything to it and it comes back a 7.5, like, oh shoot, I missed out on my 8 again.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, if I didn't know anything about it when you texted me. So when you said you saw that, I said, yeah, you need to get that like right now.
Oh man, I missed on that, I tell you. But I mean, it all works out in the end. I'm still stoked.
So you get the card and you crack it out, and again, you're looking for a grade that had great eye appeal, but something you were going to crack it out, and so you weren't going for the high grade or whatever. So, so you have to make the decision to go to Level Cross, which is I don't say in the middle of nowhere, but it's close. You just go middle of nowhere and back up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so did you call the museum? Did you make any prior arrangements or anything? Or because I know when we talked at the show in Chicago, you were thinking about, okay, try to have a meetup or something with him and more planned. And it didn't seem like that was the case. So I'm just curious if
that's great, because I remember talking about, I was like, yeah, well, if I call them or I set up a donation for a meet and greet or something, something along those lines. Basically, I called maybe a month prior. It was the day I bought the card. So I think I bought the card on October 6th or October 7th. The day I bought it, because as soon as I knew I was getting it, I called and just I was like, what's the rundown on autographs and things? And basically, and I'm sure you guys know Bonnie, the gal that runs that. She told me, we're happy to help, but we can't guarantee anything unless you're here in person. It's like, she's like, wait till Thanksgiving's over because of the holidays and stuff. And then she's like, basically, he's here all the time. And or right before Thanksgiving, she's like, do it before Thanksgiving because all the stuff will be with the holidays. You don't know his schedule and stuff. And then I think I might have done it after Thanksgiving. I'm kind of confused. I think I did it. Right before. And then I was like, okay, well, if I have a certain pen I want to use, can you use that? If I want an inscription, is that something, if I gave a donation, could you guarantee that you could get this certain inscription? And she's like, no, he doesn't inscribe stuff. It's like, she's like, well, he'll be in, sometimes you can send it to us and we can try, but again, we get to. And so for me, with that card in the condition that it's already in, because it does have a crease and all. I was like, I don't feel safe doing that.
Yeah.
I just, if I'm gonna do it, I'd rather go and drop it off at the very least, and then, because what if it gets damaged coming out of the case or something like that? Like, at least give it to them ready to have it signed, even if he's not there. So then, really, after I heard that, I didn't call him for another couple weeks, and I just showed up with the card.
Yeah, because I don't know if it was on a Wednesday or something like that where you went and like.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday.
And I'm like, well, maybe you knew that he signs on Wednesdays or whatever, or just happened to be. So I was curious about that. Okay, so
I did know that, actually. I did hear for one of my buddies, RJ, had been there prior and told me, he's like, yeah, I went on Wednesday. They'd say he's always here on a Wednesday, and he drives a Chevy truck and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, okay, there's some information for me to go off of, but there's a whole bunch more to like getting. He wasn't there when we got there. He was when I first got there in the morning. Bonnie's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. He's in Charlotte for the day, so but he should be here tomorrow. If you want to come by in the morning. So I was like, oh, well, if he's not here, it was still about a 25-minute drive from where I was staying in Ashboro. I might as well look around. And then I got there at about 11. I'd say we were looking around for about an hour. And then I looked outside and I saw the big truck, and it was right in the middle of the property. So I was like, hold on a minute. So then I walked over to the front and I said, any chance he just got here? And she goes, he wasn't supposed to be here, but get your card ready, honey. Get it ready. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then she told me the whole thing. He's like, go sit out on the benches there and wait for him. And she says, don't go to him. He'll come to you. He said this and that. And then it just happened out in the cold. It was cold though. It was like 40 something degrees. He comes walking out, and my buddy and I are sitting there, and he goes, what are you guys sitting out in the cold for? It's cold out here. And then, no, he was super nice. He's like, y'all want a picture? Or he's this and that. I was like, oh, I've actually got a card here. He goes, I'll sign it for you. And then he pulls out the white paint pen. I don't know if you guys send us stuff. He's always signing my pen. And I said, oh, is it all right if you use the one that I have? He goes, of course. And then he grabs the card like in the top loader and goes, so that's what I go, oh, hold on, we got to take it out of the top loader first. And so I grabbed it back from him. He goes, what do you got it glued up in there or something? So but it was really fun because it was just a one-on-one. So there wasn't any pressure or anything. I finally got it out of there, and he did it. And I said, any chance you could put 200 on the bottom there for me? And he's like, sure, kid. And then put it on there and hands it back. And then he's like, all right, I got to get out of here. He goes, but I hope you guys are enjoying your time. And he's like, if you need anything, just let any of us know and all that. So it's like just so hospitable and kind about the whole thing.
Yeah, that's something I think that a lot of today's drivers could really take to heart and kind of be like him. Just the way he treats fans, his autograph, everything he does is positive for the sport of NASCAR for sure. So that's really cool, man.
I mean, if you look at the auto, it's it's not a initial or whatever. It's each one of us, I think, is a work of art.
Yeah, he did. Because I've seen a couple of them, even in the PSA database, that are signed R. Petty. I wonder when did he start doing Richard full? Because you'd think as time goes on, your autograph would get shorter.
Well, let me put something on that real quick. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, of course, when NASCAR cards exploded, kind of like F1 cards are now, everybody was wanting to get stuff signed, right? So he was signing Richard Petty, but then I would say it was about 89, 90, maybe, I think, somewhere in there. He started doing R. Petty because he had so many requests through the mail that he was doing that just to save time. Because you got to think, when he signs his autograph with all the loops and everything that he does, it's about 7 or 8 seconds that it takes for him to do that autograph. So if he can shorten it, he can get more out to because he wants to sign for everybody. So that's what he did.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really a big fan of that R. Petty at all. But that's what he did back in the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a testament to his popularity, though, because you think, during his racing days or towards the end of there, people are rushing to get stuff signed as he's still around on the circuit and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him actually about 2010 when I started getting into it. I actually went to the fan day and I asked him about that, and he basically said that he changed it back so he could spend more time with the fans.
Oh,
That's what he told me. So, but
yes.
he did sign that, full name. And to Logan's point, to that range, he went to the R. Petty, and then he went back to the full name
Something,
of those swirls.
Something that I found, and I always find this, I don't know how it's almost like an experience too, because you have, I've actually got a couple things here from the museum that I picked up. So like a signed sticker or something, and you see his autograph where you collect their cards for years and years. Because now I probably have 15 Richard Petty autographs in my collection, but you see the way that it's drawn, and you get to learn, obviously in this industry through all the players, like you get to recognize their autographs. Oh yeah, that's Richard Petty. He signs like this, and with the loopy and the, crossing the T's and all that stuff, and to stand there right next to him and watch that come out as he, it was a really, really cool. It's like, wow, after seeing it all these years on cards, it's amazing to stand there in front of him and watch him actually sign it for you like that.
Yeah, it's like what Val says. It's a work of art. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much. It's just incredible. Yeah, he's just such a great guy, and the autograph, and for all these years, I think me and Logan one day we were aligned. We figured it up. It was like weeks of his life that he spent signing autographs.
Oh my gosh,
so
it has to be.
definitely. So let's see. I have some slides here. I don't going to talk about. Let me show some stuff here. So he's in level cross, and so this just shows Charlotte and Greensboro, and so you went into Greensboro and then went south into level cross, and it kind of shows you there off of Highway 73 there. And I was gonna say it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it looks like there. And I have a blow up here from the street view, so you can see the Petty Museum there in the brown. His house, or their family's originally house, Lee Petty and them, is that house to the left there, the telephone pole, and then to the right and back there is the compound.
Yeah, so that's on that wider shot, you can see on the right hand side there, in between the museum and the garage, is right where he signed it for me.
Okay, and they do have the cars there, and I think they do customizations as well for
I've actually got the
stuff.
Shirt on. I'm wearing the Petty Garage T-shirt here.
There you go.
See the logo right there.
That's cool, man.
They were working on one of his race cars, the 91 Sonoma car. And there's a guy, Roland, his name was there, worked for Petty Garage. We were the only two there. It was super quiet. And so he's like, you guys want to come back and see the car and all that? Because I told him I was from Sonoma. He's like, have I got something to show you? And so he showed us how they were photo matching the cars and the envelope, restoring all that. And that was really cool. He's the one that actually told me, because I showed him the rookie card. He said, we have that suit in the collection. So at the museum, they have the 72 STP, the suit that he wore, in the card there. And they said it's in storage at his house, but they said check back periodically because he says that suit has been on display before. And I was thinking, how crazy cool would it be to get a picture of that card with the suit? But he's like, we'd have to go dig it out. It'd be a whole thing. And I was just like, oh, don't worry about it. But man, that's crazy to think that they held onto that exact suit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is amazing. Considering, back then, those guys, they may have had just a handful of suits every year, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
I guess if one got torn or burnt or damaged, they got another suit. But it's not like today where all these drivers have a new suit, I think, every race.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they did a new one every race, just because of how worn and maybe the different sponsors. You know how they change the schemes now so often as well.
Back when Richard Petty had his fan appreciation tour back in 1992, he did have a different suit for every race that year.
Wow, probably giving some away as gifts.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, to fellow drivers and things like that.
Because I remember seeing one like on eBay. It's been several years ago though that was for sale. I forget what race it was from, but it was pretty pricey, needless to say.
Yeah.
So I've got some more of the slides that I guess you had up on Instagram here and of the museum. And, me and Logan have said that like everything in that museum is signed. Can you confirm, deny that?
No, I don't deny that at all. Funny enough, those Victory Lane checkered flags there, I think those were the only thing I noticed, and like not every single one of them was signed. There were a couple in there that weren't signed, and then somebody told me, well, not all of them are Richard. Some of them are Kyle's or somebody or this that. I was like, that's why. But everything that was his, I think for the most part. I mean, we're talking little toy tractors with wheel covers on the, like big tractors. The left wheel is signed Richard, the right wheel is signed Petty. Like he signed everything.
Well, I asked the ladies in the museum one time about why he signed everything, and they told me that someone told Richard that if he signed everything, it would be worth more money, going forward. So that was the story I got. So I don't know how true it is, but that's what I was told.
Here's something I picked up at the museum. This is a Pete Hamilton postcard, which I guess he raced for Petty, but it's signed by Richard Petty. So it's which I didn't realize. I bought a bunch of these postcards, and then I go, I don't think that's Richard.
Yeah, no, that's Pete Hamilton. I think he won the 1970 Daytona 500.
It says a 1970 Daytona champion and 1968 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Who raced the Superbird prepared by Petty Enterprises in Randleman.
Well, there's some press pass certified autographs out there that you might want to go look for. They're not too expensive.
Of Hamilton?
Pete Hamilton, yes.
Ooh, I'll add that to the list for sure.
Yep, you need to, since you become a big Petty fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maurice and Dale Inman and. Here's another one of the photos here with with the cars.
Yeah, the 67. That probably the most breathtaking thing was they said like the majority of everything in there is not reproductions. It's like that's the actual 67 Plymouth. Like
that's a Plymouth Belvedere. That he won 10 races in a row driving that car and 27 races that season.
That's one of the most iconic. It has to be one of the most iconic NASCARs of all time.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was surreal standing there, and then you get to the garage where they founded Petty Enterprises in 1949, and the sun was beaming down. It was super cold, but you could feel the warmth from the sun on the plaque that they had. You could just feel all that history.
Then there you are out in the cold.
Yeah. Oh man, it was freezing.
That's awesome right there. Yeah, I've noticed that the King has been he wears a lot of scarves now. I've noticed that over the last several years he's been wearing scarves. So that's a big.
He wears them well, I think.
He wears everything well, man. He's the best.
Yeah. And there's your card there.
Yep, there it is. Yeah. That's going to go to PSA when I will be attending the Burbank card show. So that'll go to PSA at Burbank.
Yeah, because Justin, you and I have talked. Trusting something of that caliber to the United States Postal Service is probably not the best thing in the world these days.
No, and somebody was like, you should send that in as soon as possible. I said, send it in during the holidays with the influx of packages?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a few that I need to bring, but they have to be brought in person. So, because they've all been authenticated, but they haven't been graded or numbered. So,
okay.
My original thing was just to have them just authenticated, whatever, without any grades or.
Oh, so you're just putting authentic auto, but not the type of card and all that stuff.
Yeah, none of that stuff. But now, at my point, it might be worth it to. get the card graded and get the auto graded as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Somebody asked me that about that the other day. They said, if your card is a 2.5, why wouldn't you just put authentic auto 10 or auto 9? Like, because wouldn't the 9 or the 10 look better on the slab? And from my perspective, I've sent in a lot of cards, or I've dealt with a lot of cards. It could be trimmed, it could be soaked, it could be altered in some different way. That is unclear to you or the collector. And so I always say I'd rather have it in a PSA 1 than an authentic, even if it's in bad condition, just so that I know it's in its original state. It's not trimmed. It's not altered in any way. At least when you have the numerical grade, you know that the card has not been messed with.
Yeah. Like, so when I got these done, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So it's been
definitely a different scene 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah. I was, we kind of touched on it before. I had a few of them, and my mentality was basically, I have I think a BGS 9. And then everything else is lower. So I was like, well, I'd rather get it. I have access, when I was going to the Hall of Fame and he was there getting them to sign them. So I can try to get others that are non-signed,
you have
later.
you have a BGS 9 Petty?
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's I picked that up a long time ago, but yeah, it's that one I won't crack out and get signed.
I wouldn't crack that. That's crazy. Good for you.
Yeah. So, but all the others I did.
So Justin, I know that you collect a lot of different autographs.
I do.
You go to a lot of events. I know you've been to a lot of basketball games. Steph Curry is one of your favorites. Of all the autographs that you've ever gotten, or probably maybe even ever seen, I'm setting you up for this one. You know this.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the best autograph that you've ever seen?
I mean, it's gotta be Petty.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be, because some people will say Derek Jeter too, because his is there's so much going on in that. But if you're not a sports fan and you look at Derek Jeter's, you can't read it.
Right.
I think Richard Petty's it's got to be up there, which is part of the too. While like I said, watching him stand there and sign that, taking all that time to do it and write it out. I mean, that is, you just don't see that.
No, he cares. He truly cares about all of his fans.
I tried to sit there and sign out my own name. I can hardly do that when signing a check or something for somebody,
mm-hmm.
let alone, countless things for people over the years. Definitely Petty. Hank, speaking of Hank Aaron earlier, he would write out his name, for his autograph is a pretty good one. Man, but I mean, like, we got Mike Trout a few years ago, and his is just an M with a little loop on. It's like, he's a superstar, but still, like, you wouldn't recognize it if you were said, "Oh yeah, tell me who this is," right?
Exactly.
It's too hard to tell.
Yeah. So that was a layup. I wanted to give that one to you.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I can't think of anyone like close really to that style and that just how clear it is.
I can't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he does the fan appreciations every year, Richard Petty, and he signs. He travels with those markers, and he knows he has that silver pen and the black Sharpie, and he's signed a few things.
He was ready to go. He asked. He's like, "Do you have anything you want me to sign?" And I was like, "Boom, I've got the pen." Like he had it on him, right? Like he didn't need to ask anyone for a pen. Like he had them at the ready.
Yeah, and we talked about before how old he is, but he still has that. I mean, you think about how many things he signed carpal tunnel and all this other stuff in his 80s, and to still do that, that's just because he starts that swirl and just goes, and it's just incredible. So I mean, I heard rumors of somebody was saying that he might stop signing through the mail this year. I have not heard anything to confirm that, but he's getting up there. So And
I
that's a
think
lot.
I just checked the other day. I think the notice is still up on the website.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to pull that up if we can go over there if you want me to show that.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing too is that they let you get 2 things signed.
Yeah, on the website. We've talked about it before on the show every year, and some folks have done that. But they're on the RichardPettyMuseum.com. There's an autograph request. The NASCAR guys are great. If you go to the shop's webpage or anything and look at the frequently asked questions, they'll have information there about autograph requests. And so, yeah, obtaining an autograph, you may send in 2 items or drop them off per person to have autographed at the Petty Museum. It gives you the address. It has to be self-addressed stamped envelope or postage, and you're good to go. Basically, it's great to get those. I've sent stuff before, and we're talking about stuff sending stuff through the mail. Of course, it was a different time back there, but me and Logan had gone, and I had left an '83 Uno out there to get sent, and he signed it and sent it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of all this, do either of you have anything in your collection for Richard Petty specifically that, like, oh, I still would like to have X or Y signed, while I still can? What's one thing or a couple things that you still have?
That's a good question, because I've got, the Kidco card from '82, the '83 Uno, the '85 Sports Stars photographic sticker, the '86 card, the '88 Max. I've got all of those signed by him.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I really need to have signed by him. I am going, believe it or not, I mean, and this is not because of this show, but I finally am going to have a little bit of time tomorrow to put together an autograph request and send it in to him. I think I've got another '86 Sports Stars photographic I can send to him, and maybe another Kidco card that I may send to him.
You're funny because I'm going to work on something like that. But for me, I'm thinking about working on the '86 Prism Silver set.
The 2016 Silver Prism?
I'm sorry, 2016 Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also there's the championships card in there. That's Richard Petty, Jimmy, Darren Waltrip, and those and Tony Stewart. I'm working on that as well.
Mm.
I think it's a little 4 or 5 card set. I think maybe Terry Labonte's in there, and it's die cut as well with the edges. So,
nice.
But everything else, to Logan's point, I've gotten a lot of stuff over the years, and '88 Max, working on '88 Max autograph set, which I've already gotten. That's one of those iconic cards as well. That close up of him, his hat and his glasses on. So
yeah,
I've got I can't show it, but I have a cowboy hat, one of the Charlie One Horse hats that was actually worn by Richard Petty, signed by Richard Petty here at the house.
Really?
I do. And I also have, when he had a truck team, he had some white hats made with like a red band and or I think it was a blue band with a 43 logo on it for the Truck Series team when they first started that. I actually have 2 of those hats, and I've got them. I got one of them signed by him at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah. And also, I was at his last race, which was the 1992 Hooters 500 in Atlanta, which was Jeff Gordon's first race.
Right.
I've got my ticket from that race. I actually have that signed. It's right up there too.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, here, let me I'll do this real quick. You guys can see some of it. There's the hat.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, classic.
You can see the ticket over there next to that big statue. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, that's some of the stuff I've got. So yeah,
I'll say I did that program, that '92 Atlanta program, and had Richard sign it first, and then I had Jeff Gordon sign it. But because Richard Petty signed it, I think Jeff signed it very nice and big as well. 'Cause be
Jeff
outdone
was
by
on his best manners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so actually it was pretty cool. I got Richard to sign it first because Jeff might not have done it that way. So
That's great.
So, Justin, do you know that back, when Richard Petty started racing back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, his autograph was completely different than it is today. You know that, right?
Not off the top of my head. No, I don't.
Yes, back. I think I'm trying to think of the timeline of when he changed it from his original signature to the signature he has now. I'm thinking it had to be somewhere into the late 70s, early 80s. But I do have an example. Val has one too, I think, of one of Richard Petty's early signatures.
Oh, that's gotta be next of it. Oh yes. So yeah, that's on. I've got like the fan appreciation thing here.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. See, I don't have one of those. I didn't know that was that early.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, it took him even longer to sign that. So he kind of shortened it up by doing how he does it now. But I mean, look at that thing right there.
Oh,
that
it's gorgeous.
Is the autograph for sure.
I think if you strung that out, that's like 3 feet.
I never thought about that. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, so
it looks kind of springy.
Yeah, it's what always amazes me is collecting autographs, how like it runs in the family, how they sign the same. Lee Petty, Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, and Adam Petty are very similar.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch are similar.
Yes.
Just as an example. So
Derek Carr and David Carr, extremely similar. Extremely similar.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's amazing story. And what's next for you?
What's next for me? That's great because I asked myself that right after I got it signed because I always want to have something to look forward to, and someone to look up to. Those are my two things I always want to have. So the thing that I'm looking forward to collecting wise now is I wanted to try and track down all the Panini dual autos. It's gonna be tough, but I just got back my Deegan and Danica dual auto that I actually pulled myself, the 101 in 2021, and then I've been picking up a lot of the dual autos. I just got the Bowman Byron. I've got the Petty Johnson numbered to 7. But there's different ones. Like I want the Petty Thad Moffitt one, but the dual autos. I just got the Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, all those ones. I'm working on getting those together because I think those are some of the coolest ones.
Oh, those are definitely cool.
Yeah. The Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson one. That one was harder to track down, but that's a really great one as well.
That's fantastic. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I finding a refined space. It's funny. It's something very small, but I want to get a case dedicated to my NASCAR cards because I have enough cards now to where it's like they should have their own box, and I think that's really self-rewarding. I'm gonna find that great, just having their own box and organizing them all in their own area as compared to I have them next to some football cards right now. It's like, well, they should have their own spot, and then the football cards should have their own spot too. Like organizing and watching the collection evolve has been a lot of fun.
Well, that's cool, man. Go ahead, Val.
No, I was gonna say that's been amazing. We really appreciate you sharing your adventure here and acquiring that. I know you have a hard stop, so
yeah. Well,
we respect your time and we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I'll say this too for anyone that's thinking about doing something or has a card that they want to get. Oh, I just don't know if I get. Just go do it. Because obviously if you have the time and the opportunity, but I had that opportunity come up. I was like, oh, should I do it? Should I just send it in? And man, I'm so glad I took that leap and it all worked out because that turned into something I'm going to remember forever. So, and I really appreciate you guys letting me tell this story and revisit with you guys. You guys are two of the best, and I look forward to some more adventures next year at the National, and seeing what else we can come up with.
Yeah, me too, great. Man. I'm looking forward to seeing you back at the National this year, or this
Absolutely.
next year, I should say.
Yeah, first time in Cleveland too. I've never been to Cleveland.
I think that was the first one I went to, and that's where I met Logan.
Yeah, and
look at that
now.
All right.
He puts up with me every week.
Yeah, you're only 172 episodes in now.
Yeah, I think I started on episode like 44 or something like that. So I've been around for a little while.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. And if there's ever anything I can do to help or contribute or anything like that, you guys just let me know.
Yeah. So you want to give out any kind of social or anything like that? You know, where your shop is, all that kind of thing?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Well, my personal on Twitter is at Justin_channels. The shop is at CA Roadshow on Twitter or X. And then Instagram is Cali Roadshow Shop. That's our shop. We're located in Sonoma, California. At the time of this airing, we're having our holiday Christmas bash on the 16th. So if anyone local to California wants to come out and see that, we'd love to have you. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We've just had our 6-month anniversary. So yeah, really, really excited to watch that grow, and excited to see what that brings me in life as we continue this venture. But I think that's about it.
Well, we appreciate you being on, man, and we love you. You know that.
Yes,
You've become a great friend over these past several years.
Yeah, well, I love you guys, and like I said, let me know. I'm here for you, and I'm sure I'll have some more stories for you next time.
Okay, cool, man.
Can't wait.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, you too. See ya.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Yeah, you too. Well, that was awesome.
That was totally awesome, man. He everything went exactly the way it could have gone for him. I mean, he could have gone so many different ways, but he got it all just worked out so perfectly. I'm so proud for him.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. He did a little bit of legwork there, and knew about coming in on Wednesday and was not afraid to talk to the folks at the shop. Again, he's not the only one or ever first one. He's probably the first one of the day, maybe. But people call all the time, and it's just not for him, but for the other shops and stuff. And you can check their websites. They give their autograph policies and their appearances as well as the tracks and stuff like that. So little projects, big projects, just have to have some patience. So, and some perseverance. So
exactly. So so I guess we probably need to be moving on with the show. I do have one little news nugget. It really doesn't pertain to collecting, but it does pertain to NASCAR, and it's talking about the Chicago Street Race winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. So this is from J-Ski. It says that Shane Van Gisbergen has shed light on how his racing program might look this next year. It says little is known in the terms of specifics of Shane Van Gisbergen's 2024 activities beyond the fact that Trackhouse Racing has signed him to a developmental deal encompassing several tiers in NASCAR. So he's going to be in a lot of things. So it says, and this is from him, Shane Van Gisbergen says, or I'm just going to say SVG says, it will be mainly in the Xfinity series, but a lot of cup races and maybe some truck stuff too. My advice to him is stay out of the trucks. Just do Xfinity and do cup, because we all seen what happened with Haley Deegan. I think she's going to do much better in Xfinity than she did in the truck.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any relationship. I think the Xfinity and cup, there are a lot more similarities than Xfinity and truck. So yeah. To your point, I never even thought about that. I just thought that was natural progression. But when I saw Ty Gibbs totally jump trucks and what he did in Xfinity, granted he had good equipment, but yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Of course, everybody out there knows that that's an autograph that I need, I'm kind of afraid to send anything to Australia right now. If he comes to the States and he's going to be in Talladega or something, I'm going to be there.
Well, if he's going to be at the multiple races next year, then the shop or going to the shop will be an option. So
True,
as
very true.
instead of just instead of trying to do it to Australia now. So because I know I did, just real quick on tangent, Australia had somebody I needed for my 1990 Max set, and I had to buy Australian postage. So mailing it from here to Australia is US, but from Australia back, I needed Australian postage. So I had to figure out all that, how much I needed to buy Australian postage so that I could put it on return. And I got it
Yeah.
back. Of course, I think I mailed a few of them and to the same address.
You
Some of them
finally got.
didn't make it, and some of them did.
Yeah, that's funny how that thing works. I mean, but that stuff going over the ocean, it may fall out of the plane. You never know.
Well, it takes, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I want to be, I guess, preempt the King's Court for this real quick. We saw one of these pop up, and there's only about an hour or something left. Um, it's one of the infamous Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Elsa 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 Rose. And I think I looked up. We did see one of these sell. What was it, like $2,400? I think it was last time, a few years ago, 2 years ago.
I think there's only one of these.
There's multiple.
Oh, there is? See, I
Yes.
did not know that.
Yeah. So I checked the number. It was our episode 62, and I had to screenshot, and it was a different number than this, because where it says uh, Elsa,
Signed also.
yes, that was in a different location on the other card. It was more.
Oh, so
It
he
was
let her
more by the
sign
front.
multiple cards.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I learned something today.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure this will come up on next week's King's Court, but I wanted to throw that out there. Like that was pretty cool. So we'll be watching that. Uh, actually, I guess we should talk about it. We're not going to have. We're going to take the rest of the year off, but it'd be interesting to see where this ends.
Yeah, that will probably. I'll have a 3-week or whatever King's Court that I'll go through, and that will most likely probably be in there in some form or fashion.
Right. All right. I guess now we can hit King's Court.
Sure, man. Roll that beautiful bean footage, buddy. Okay, it's hard to believe this is the last King's Court of the year. It's going by really quick. So we'll start out with our first honorable mention. This was on the 10th of December. It's a 2016 National Treasures Racing Autographs. It says Force in 4 in parentheses. I can't say that word. And then Don Garlitz and Robert Height. It's number 36 of 49. They were asking $220.20 for this. Went for a best offer of $194.
I think that's a good deal.
I think it's a great deal, man. You realize that John Force is like a 16-time NHRA champion and a 22-time championship team owner.
Yeah, then you got Big Daddy Don Garlis.
Yep, Big Daddy. Yeah, and see, he even inscribed that, so that's even cooler.
And then Ashley, Brittany, and Courtney Force.
Yep, and Brittany's won 2 championships on her own in Top Fuel, so
I think somebody stole that.
she's no slack. And Don Garlitz is a 3-time champion. So I mean, gosh, 16, 2, and 3. That's 21 championships, man, right there. And I think Robert Height, he's won 3. So yeah.
Somebody got a deal.
Yeah, somebody got a great deal. I think $194 is a steal on that thing, man.
Yeah, very nice.
Cool. Yeah, very nice. I mean, I'm a closet drag racing fan. So.
Yeah, I respect it. So.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have the Mid-South Nationals here at the Motorsports Park for years. And, man, getting autographs from those guys, I mean, it's easy. I'll say relatively easy when you see the NASCAR drivers, but the NHRA guys, fish in a barrel, man, all day long. Man, and John Force is like Richard Petty. He gets an autograph mode, and he just signs everything. It's just crazy.
Yes, yeah, we have Z-Max. I'm going to have to go out there. They're saying like every ticket is a pit pass.
It is, man. The only thing is man, you got to watch out for that nitro, man. It'll choke you to death. Your sinuses will start running, but it's a fun experience. You get to go up there and you can watch them rebuild the engines after each pass. I mean, it's incredible.
All right.
So, sorry to spend so much time on that. So let's go to our second honorable mention. This was on the 9th of December. It's a 2022 National Treasures Racing Bobby and Terry Labonte Platinum Blue Dual Auto 1 of 1 from NT, which I love NT 101s. And this card went out for bidding, and it landed at $202.50 with 29 bids.
That's pretty nice.
It's very nice. I mean, right there, there's 3 championships right there. Terry's got 2 and Bobby's got 1.
Yeah, it's a 101 on card. Very nice.
Yeah, and the autographs are nice. I mean, they're not streaky or anything. So yeah, cool, man. Whoever got that, I think that's another good deal. So
maybe Justin got that one.
Yeah.
All
right. So next we have our Joker of the week. And this isn't particularly funny, but it is odd. So this was on the 9th of December. It's a 1949/50 Cicogna Tutacalcio. I think I'm pronouncing that maybe right. Card number 234 of Juan Manuel Fangio. And of course, now they're claiming this is the rookie card. So you know how we've seen it. We see all these new cards come out because since Formula One is a global sport, a lot of different countries make their own cards. So this is like the oldest one I've seen now to date. So I'm going to say, yeah, this is his rookie card. Okay.
For now, until something else pops up.
For this week, this is his rookie card. But it's a PSA 1, and it's pretty cool. It looks like part of a snippet of film or something. But they were asking $499 for this. And you know the drill, man. What happened?
Click.
Yep. Somebody went click, and they bought it for $499. And I think they stole it for $499.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those. That looks cool, though. It looks like a piece of film. So,
yeah, it's got some Olympic rings on there. I don't know what significance that is.
Yeah, I don't know,
but yeah, I thought that was really cool. If I had some money, I'll say that. If I had some money and I'd seen that, I probably would have bought it because I think whoever got that, you could probably take that to Heritage or somebody and probably really resell it if you wanted to. Not that I'm into that kind of thing, but right. I think somebody got it for a great deal.
That's card number 234. What's 1 to 233 look like?
Gosh, I don't know, man. I bet that's a cool set.
That's what I was thinking too. So pretty neat. All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, keep on rolling. Jack of the week on the 11th of December. Look who it is. Lando Calrissian Norris. It's a 2020 Topps Chrome Sapphire Edition Gold F1 freshest rookie card out of 50, blah, blah, blah. It's a PSA 9, and they were asking $399.99 for this. Here we go again, man. Click. Somebody went click and bought it for $399.99.
Wow. But it is freshest,
So what I want to know is, why do we see a lot of these F1 drivers with their hands together like this? Are they praying? Are they going, good, good? I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but you see a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess during that photo shoot, it's like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah, it's like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands.
If they have something at the National, remind me, we're going to have to do some of those poses.
Yes, we are. Most definitely. Goodness. But yeah, I think that's a pretty cool card. I think it's probably priced right. Actually, maybe priced a little low.
That's what I was thinking, that this is 2020 rookie year, numbered out of 50 and 9. The 9 I wouldn't say would hold me back because those have issues. But being a 9 is actually a good thing. 9 or 10, and not a 7 or 8 or something. So
Agreed.
uh, even though it's not, let's say, his base, but it's number 199. It's a sapphire, which is tough. So yeah, I think that's somebody got a good deal on that one.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Because he's up and coming, man. He really is.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So next up, our Queen of the Week. This is on the 8th of December. It's 2023 Panini VIP Gold Pack. It's from the VIP packs. It's a Hyper Prism number 68, Danica Patrick. And I like how they say this. This is a 1 of 1. But they were asking $399.99 for this. And again, they settled on a best offer of $250 for this.
Okay.
So not a bad pull from a VIP pack, man.
Not bad at all. I'm still amazed that he's still making cards of her. But she's in that classic GoDaddy uniform, so
Yeah.
like 2010, 2011 stuff.
Yeah, instead of that Baker's Choice or Baker's whatever the heck that thing was.
Yeah.
See, you can see it really stuck with me.
Well, it was only like a year or something, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Next up, King of the Week. This is on the 9th of December. Chase Elliott Cornerstones Laundry Tags autograph. A lot of 1-of-1s this week. It's autograph 1-of-1. It says 2022 Chronicles. And the starting bid was $425. Somebody had, went out and did one bid and they clicked and got it for $425.
Those laundry tags are cool.
Yeah, and I wish the picture was better. It's kind of blurry. But yeah, those are pretty cool. I like that card a lot.
Yeah, I can't tell if the laundry tags are upside down or just, blurry.
Or maybe it's in Chinese. I can't tell with this picture.
Oh, that's true too. I don't know. 425. Yeah, it's great memorabilia with auto 101. So
yeah, and the auto Chase Elliott's auto is all on the sticker too, so that's a good thing. It's not off the sticker.
He's another one. He sounds like his dad.
Mm-hmm. He does. That's another one. You're right. All right, next our Ace of the Week, which is our highest priced 1-of-1. This was on the 11th of December. It's a 2021 Topps Dynasty F1 Matea Bonato, however you pronounce that. It's an autograph patch gold 1-of-1 PSA 9. They were asking $1150 for this cool card, and they settled on the best offer of $750. But I like that card a lot because it has the
patch,
the dancing horse or the prancing horse there.
Yeah, that makes that card.
That is awesome, man. If you're a Ferrari guy, man, that's one to have, I think.
Yeah, over any other patch, I mean, yeah, I don't really care who it is on Ferrari.
Yeah, no kidding. When I saw that, when I was going through the eBay listings, I went, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's the card right there, man."
It's beautiful.
It is, man.
Yeah, every Ferrari
makes me think of your office video you have for the Scuderia, but we're not going to play that right now.
No, we're not. We don't have time. So
yeah, we don't have enough time. All right. So lastly, we have our Royal Flush. This was on the 12th of December. It's a 2021 Topps Chrome F1 Green Refractor Oscar Piastri. It's out of 99, and it's a PSA 10. And of course, he's also a young driver as well. But they were asking $1,336.50. Guess what? We had another click.
And on the click. Wow. Buy it now. $1,336. This is, I think, his rookie year.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Rookie auto numbered at, we said 99. PSA 10. Wow.
Yep. It's green. I like those green cards. I think they just pop to me.
Yeah, it looks good. They did a good job with the photo because it's got that, like that prism over his shoulder there to the left. So it kind of shows the depth. It's a nice looking card.
Yeah, it is nice. He's
shown some flashes this year. So
He has. He has had a couple flashes this year. He hadn't won anything yet. $1,336 may be a bargain a couple years from now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very speculative because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, look at some of the other stuff, the shakeups going on, right, with Logan Sargent and everybody else moving around. Who's going to take what spot? So,
yeah, I think I heard that Logan Sargent re-signed with Williams for next year.
Okay.
So I think I read that somewhere, maybe on F1's site or something somewhere. So that's good. But that's it for this week's King's Court. That's King's Court for this year. Makes me want to kind of go boo-hoo. It's already been a year.
I know.
So one other thing I want to talk about real quick, and I think we touched on this on our live show Friday. We have finalized the 40 nominees. The committee has finalized the 40 nominees for the Racing Card Hall of Fame. And we will have the ballot ready at the beginning of the year for voting, and voting will be probably mostly the entire month of January, and then we will compile the results, and we will announce the nominees or the new inductees on our February show, which will be the week of the Daytona 500. So just kind of stay tuned for that. We're gathering the images and everything right now. We're doing all the work to get the Google Forms ready so you can vote. So when that happens, vote early, but don't vote often. No ballot stuffing, man. We don't want this to be a presidential election.
One vote per person, please.
Yes. So be on the lookout for that this next year.
Yes. All right, I guess that wraps up. For me, Logan, happy holidays, happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody has a safe, joyous holiday season.
Yeah, and we appreciate your viewership and listenership throughout this year. Our views and our people have listened more this year. It's grown. We're happy for that, but the only reason that it's done that is because of the folks out there who are actually doing the viewing and the listening. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and I'll just say hashtag skid marks, Ty freaking Gibbs, and hashtag Slabfire. And for me, I'll let Val finish, but for me, we'll see you next year, and thanks for everything.
Yeah, what everything what Logan said, we appreciate it very much. We try to bring you interesting new content, latest of what's going on on the card angle of it, and we haven't forgot about coming back next year. We're going to do a show on hero cards. We talked about, and try to do some more deep dives into sets. We have a lot of Panini stuff coming out as well. So looking for a super 2024. So with that wrapping up, again, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it very much. We wish everybody a happy, safe holidays, New Year, and we will see you in January. Refreshed and ready to go. If I can find the video. Some things never change. So I'll have to work on that. All right. We're out of here. Thank you, everybody.